Hi guys! So another week has passed. Pretty fast, isn't it? Do you miss me? Well, for me, I've been hoping to see you again. After 1 week, are you still studying hard in Japanese? To waste any time, let's start our lesson right away. Before going in the new lesson, as usual, I will accompany with you to go over the last lesson. So, this is the 7th week of our lesson. Do you remember what did we learn in the 6th week? Let me give you a hint. They are verbs that show our regular and daily life action. So, what is it, guys? That's right, they are verbs like 食べます eat, 飲みます drink, 見ます watch, 聞きます listen, 読みます read, 書きます write. These verbs have one same characteristic, which is they all need complementary words like eat rice, read book, take medicine, or watch movie, that we call transitive verbs. And to combine with noun complementary words, these verbs need to have another auxiliary verb with it. Do you remember which one is it? You remember the old lesson very well. Nouns combine with auxiliary verb o and to describe the action. For example, リンゴを食べます I eat apple. Let's read and translate after me. ジュースを飲みます I drink juice. 彼は映画を見ます He watch movie. タバコを吸います I smoke cigarette. Also, in the last lesson, you have learned lots of words about food. Do you still remember it? The next structure that I want to remind you that is the noun o shimasu. Indicates the action to perform the content expressed in nouns, like playing soccer, doing homework. If we want to ask about action, we only need to replace nani with nani o shimasu ka? Pretty easy, isn't it? Besides, both nan and nani have the same meaning, what. Can you differentiate these two? If you can't, please take a look at the lesson 6 again. What's the meaning of nouns indicating a location combined with a particle de and verb? The correct answer is doing what and where. And finally, if I want to require someone to do something for me, how should I say it? For example, I want to take someone to lunch with me. I would ask, 一緒に昼ご飯を食べませんか? If your answer is 一緒に昼ご飯を食べましょう, then you are also correct. Both of these structures are only different in speaker's tone and behavior, so the answer varies in different circumstances. So we have gone over most of lesson 6. How many percentage did you remember? You should always try to keep it at least 90%. That way you can learn more efficiently. Let's begin our lesson 7. Today, our topic is about family. In the lesson 7 today, we will learn about the vocabulary, structures, and also culture corner. First, our vocabulary today is obviously be about family. Besides that, we will also learn about some transitive verbs and some structures based on around these verbs. As usual, let's start with the vocabulary today. 切ります cut 送ります send あげます give 貸します lend, and opposite of this is 借ります 教えます teach 慣れます learn かけます call 電話をかけます make a call. The second group is words indicating eating tools. 手 hand 箸 chopsticks スポン spoon ナイフ knife, hasami, scissor. The third group is office, facility, and others. First, fakusu, fax, wapuro, typewriter, pasokon, personal computer, panchi, punching machine, hochikitsu, staple, zerotepu, tape, keshigomu, eraser, kami, paper. Hana, flower. Shatsu, shirt. Purezento, present. Nimotsu, baggage. Okane, money. Kippu, ticket. Christmas, Christmas. Well, you must be wondering where the new words about family. Here it is. Chichi means dad. Haha means mom. When speaking about other people's dad or addressing yourself when speaking with your dad, Japanese has the word otosan. The same also applies to addressing yourself when talking to your mom or when talking about other people's mom. We have the word okasan. Next, mo, already. Mada, not yet. Korekara, from now on. Suteki desu ne, nice or pretty. There are not many new words today, right? Next, let's move on to the new structures. The first structure that I want to introduce to you today is doing something with something. Nouns indicating method, de, verb. The particle de indicates the method. Let's take an example. Every day we eat with chopsticks, right? So our action here is eat, and it's done by using the method chopsticks. Hashi de gohan wo tabemasu. I eat with chopsticks. Here's another example. How do I say I write report in Japanese? Our action here is writing report, and our method is using Japanese. So we have nihongo de report o kakimasu. The particle de in the structure is very much like by in English. Do you understand now? So you're just learning Japanese and there must be a lot of words and sentences you don't know its meaning. Today I'm introducing to you a new structure to ask about the meaning of some words or even sentences. The structure is word, sentence, wa, go de, nan desu ka? For example, ありがとうは英語で何ですか? What does it mean? That's right, the sentence above means what is thank you in English? The next structure I'm introducing to you is related to the new words that I mentioned earlier. Do you still remember what these verbs あげます, 貸します, 教えます means? They are all transitive verbs that need objects to complete the meaning, and their meanings are give, lend, teach someone. We put the particle ni after nouns indicating objects and then the verb. For example, 山田さんは木村さんに花をあげました. It means Mr. Yamada gave flower to Miss Kimura. Miss Kimura is the object of the action gave, so Kimura-san must be placed before the particle ni. Rin-san ni hon o kashimashita means I lent Miss Lee a book. The verb kashimashita means to lend someone. Like the previous example, Miss Lee is the object of the action, so her name Lee-san must be placed before the particle ni. So how should I say when I want to say I teach Taro English. That's right, it is Taro-san ni eigo wo oshiemasu. There's a side note for verbs like kurimasu, send, denwa wo kakemasu, make a call. The object isn't necessarily be a person, could also be a location. In that case, beside ni, we can also use a particle e, like in the sentence. 会社へ電話をかけます. I make a call to the company. The verb group that indicates passive actions, such as もらいます, receive, 借ります, borrow, and 習います, study, have the same structure with the previous example. The only difference is that the source of the action is put before the particle ni. The structure, someone, and one, receive, and do something. We have the structure, and one, wa, and do, ni. Kimura-san wa Yamada-san ni hana o muremashita. It means Miss Kimura got flowers from Miss Yamada. Or haha ni presento o moraemasu means I get a present from my mom. Do you understand it? Here's another example. Karina-san ni CD o karimashita. It means I borrowed CD from Miss Karina. I'm the one who got the CD, and the one lending it to me is Miss Karina. So I will be the subject and Miss Karina will be put before the particle ni. And next is the action borrowing CD. CD o karimashita. Next, how do I say I learned Chinese from Mr. Wang? That's right, it is Wang-san ni Chugoku go o naraimasu. We can always replace the particle ni with the particle kara without changing its meaning, especially when the object isn't a person but rather a group, like a company or a school. We don't use ni, but instead we use kara. For example, 銀行からお金を借りました. I borrowed money from the bank. So you have learned the two main structure in lesson 7. To make you remember our lesson today more clearly, let's do a little practice. Please translate the following into Japanese. Mr. Tanaka gave Miss Kimura flowers. Miss Kimura got flowers from Mr. Tanaka. I sent gifts to my family in Vietnam. My father lent me a pen and I borrowed from my father a pen. Do you understand the two structure above? Let's move on to our next structure. Mo, the verb mashita, means already done, did something. The action is already finished at the present. Mo means already, used with verbs in past tense, mashita. Mo gohan o tabemashita. I already ate. Mo report o kakimashita. I already wrote a report. Mo shukurai o shimashita. I have already done the homework. When asking question, as usual, you only need to put ka at the end of question. Mo gohan o tabemashita ka? Have you eaten? Mo report o kakimashita ka? Have you written the report? Mo shukurai o shimashita ka? Have you done the homework? To answer this type of questions, we have, for the affirmative answers, we got Hei, mo, verb mashita. And for negative answer, we have Ie, mada desu. For example, mo nimotsu o okurimashita ka? Have you sent the package yet? If it's yes, we say Hei, mo okurimashita. Yes, I've already sent it. If not, ie, mada desu. No, I haven't. Another thing that I want to remind you that is, when answering in negative form, we don't use negative verbs in past tense. The reason is because the verb masen deshita means someone didn't do something in the past, not haven't done it. In the example earlier, we answer that we haven't sent the package. Ie, mada okurimasen. Instead of we did not send the package. Okurimasen deshita. So do note that in mind. In our conversation today, we'll be with Mr. Santo to visit Mr. Yamada's house. First off, let's start with some vocabulary in the conversation. Gomen kudasai means excuse me, anybody home, or can I come in? Irassai, welcome. Dozo oagari kudasai, please come in. When the guest is invited in the house, they will say, "Shitsurei excuse me. Ikkaga desu ka? Do you want something? Itadakimasu. Let's eat or drink. Ryokko, trip or vacation. Ryokko o shimasu means traveling. Omiyage, gifts, souvenirs. So we have gone through the vocabulary in our conversation today. Let's start. Mr. Santos stands in front of Mr. Yamada's house and says, "Gomen kudasai." Excuse me. Mr. Yamada answers, "Irassai, dozo oagari kudasai." Welcome, please come in. Mr. Santo comes in and says, "Shirei shimasu. I beg your pardon." Mr. Yamada's wife asks, "Kohi wa ikaga desu ka? Would you like some coffee?" Miss Maria answers, "Arigatou gozaimasu," means yes, please. When giving the coffee, Miss Yamada's wife says, "Dozo," means here you go. Miss Maria says, "Itadakimasu," means let's drink, and also compliments. "Kono spoon wa suteki desu ne." You have a nice spoon. Miss Tomoko replies, kaisha no hito ni moraimashita. Oh, my co-workers gave me that. Yoroppa ryoko no omiyage desu. It's a souvenir of his Europe trip. Do you understand the dialogue? Let's practice it again. Gomen kudasai. Irassai. Dozo oagari kudasai. Shirei shimasu. Koi wa ikaga desu ka? Arigatou gozaimasu. Dozo. Itadakimasu. Kono spoon wa suteki desu ne. Kaisha no hito ni moraimashita. Yoroppa ryoko no omiyage desu. So we have gone through with all the lesson 7 today. Let's resume it again. For the vocabulary part, we have action words like send, cut, give, receive, borrow, and lend. And also new words about office, facilities, and family. For the structure part, we have learned 5 basic structure about doing something with something. Ask our meaning of words and sentence. The 2 structures to go with our new verbs. And already done with something structure. It's not that hard, isn't it? Let's try our best to remember our lesson today. As I introduced at the beginning of this article, in the Culture Corner today, I will introduce you to the characteristics of Japan's natural geography. Japan is a giant island with more than 3,000 large and small islands formed by the rise of the undersea mountains deep in the Pacific Ocean. The 4 largest islands from north to south are Hokkaido, Honshu, Shikoku, and Kyushu. To being at the contact point of many continents, the geological situation in Japan is very unstable. Japan is subjected to 7,500 earthquakes every year. Japan is also a country with many volcanoes. The tallest one in Japan, also known as the symbol of Japan, Mountain Fuji, is still active till this day. Although Japan does lack in other resources, they never has to worry about fresh water shortage. In Japan, there are many hot springs stretching across the country. They have become a popular attraction when foreign visitors visit the country. Of cherry blossom. Some of the best hot springs in Japan are located in Kyushu, so it's a must not miss if you ever decide to come to Japan. So that's the end of our culture current today. How do you feel with the lesson today? If you have enjoyed and feel the lesson to be helpful, then please subscribe for a Japanese lesson every week. Do feel free to make suggestions and comments. See you again in the next lesson.